Well, good morning, each and every one of you. It is a sincere pleasure for me to be with all you young people who are destined for success and with all the adults that are committed to helping you get there. Now, I'm going to ask you a rhetorical question, and that means you don't have to answer, you just think about the answer. When I say the word star, what do you think of? Do you think of the brightest light in the sky? Do you think of a movie star? Do you think of an ornament on top of a Christmas tree? Do you think of all those stars on the American flag? Do you think of the insignia on the shoulders of a general? Or do you, young, intelligent, beautiful people in my audience, think of you? Well, you should, because you are the bright stars of the future, and we want you all to become successful citizens. And when I talk about a successful citizen, I mean people who respect education and continually look for ways to expand their minds. I'm talking about people who have compassion and they understand the importance of giving back to the community and helping society. I am talking about people who demonstrate character and people who look to serve as role models, helping other people reach their full potential. And in today's world, being a successful citizen means knowing mathematics. And I know some of you are thinking, oh, mathematics, anything but mathematics. But mathematics, like it or not, is the foundation of science, technology, and engineering. Without mathematics, no iPods, no iPads, no computers, no microwave ovens, and no internet. Without mathematics, there would be no drugs to help cure your disease, there would be no cream to spread on your skin to protect you from the sun, and there would be no space exploration. And some of you are saying, oh, but math is so hard and it's irrelevant, I'm never going to use this. Why mathematics? Well, mathematics, more than any other subject, teaches you how to think critically and how to problem solve. And if you have those two skills, you can study any subject, you can explore any career, and you can make some wise choices in life. So this morning, in the little bit of time I have with you, I want to point out all the different mathematics that's in your world, things you've never even thought about. And I'm going to start with a real simple math problem that I think you can answer. First, I need somebody to read it to me. What is this problem? Yes, sir.
1 million times 1,000.
You are brilliant. 1 million times 1,000. And now I need somebody brilliant to give me the answer. What is it? Not quite, but you're very close. Yes, sir.
1 billion.
1 billion is correct. So what is 1 billion? People say, well, it's like 1 with 9 zeros. But I'm here to tell you 1 billion is also a little bit less than the population of India. It is about the number of feet that light travels in a second, and it is a word on McDonald's signs across the entire globe. But still, like, what is a billion? So if I want you to appreciate a billion, I want you to imagine, for homework, you're going to make tally marks, and you're going to write 1 a second, and you're not going to eat, and you're going to do very little sleeping. You're just going to spend all your time writing little tally marks. And do you know how long it would take you, me, your teacher, parents? You know how long it would take you to write 1 billion? Do you think you know? How long?
1 billion seconds.
And do you know how long 1 billion seconds is?
No.
It is 32 years. 32 years it would take you to write 1 billion. So when you see 1 billion, you better show it respect, right? I am 1 billion seconds old, and then some. But you haven't even reached 1 billion seconds yet, unless you're 32 years old and still in the 6th grade. Now, I found out in a history book that the population of the world is 6.6 billion. Okay, but now that I know how big 1 billion is, oh, can I appreciate this? That means I can count each and every person on the planet one a second, and it would take me 211 years to count them all. Mathematics is about computing, and you did that beautifully. But it's also about getting an answer and knowing what the answer means. And now you know how big 1 billion is. All right, so tell me how smart you are. What do we call the part of the circle that cuts it in half? Yes, ma'am. Excellent. It's called a diameter. All right. What do we call a line that starts in the center and goes to the edge?
Radius.
Radius. What do we call the distance around the circle? Circumference. And what do we call all the stuff inside the circle? The area. All right. Now this one's for geniuses only. What do we call a line that comes along and kisses the edge of the circle and shoots off into space? This is a hard one. Put on that thinking cap.
Arc?
Not quite, but a good guess.
Chord?
Not quite, but a real good guess. Not quite, but another good guess. This starts with a T. It's a weird word. I don't even know if you've heard of it. It starts with a T. Starts with a T. Nobody's heard of it? Yes, sir, Steve. Tangent is what it's called. All right, now, you learned all these things about the circle, and now I'm going to tell you why the circle is so important to you. And to show you, I'm going to start changing it into other math shapes. So, what is this? Triangle. Geniuses only. Trapezoid. All right, geniuses only. A rhombus. And finally, do you agree this is a teeny tiny triangle? And it's nice and flat, so in mathematics we say that's 2-dimension. So now I'm going to pop it open, and I've created a new shape that is 3-dimensional. This is called a tetrahedron. Not a pyramid, but a tetrahedron. And this is the shape of many of the satellites that bring reception to your cell phone. No matter how it tosses and turns in space, one side is always toward the sun to absorb all the energy, and 3 sides are away from the sun to keep the instrumentation cool. So because of mathematics and its partners, science, technology, and engineering, you can talk to your mom and dad and best friend any time of the day from any point on the planet. I want you also to know that this tetrahedron can be made into a tri-pack. And in the United States, a tri-pack is used to store fruit juice. In China, a tri-pack is used to store little baby M&Ms. Many countries across the globe use a tri-pack to store tea leaves. Mathematics, it's in your world, whether you think about it very much or not. This is the shape of the herpes virus, which causes cold sores. It is called an icosahedron. Icosa means 20, and that is because there are 20 triangles that come together at 12 points to make this shape. This is also the shape of many of the viruses, all 200 of them, that cause the common cold. It is the shape of the polio virus and the shape of the cruise ship virus called the norovirus, which causes you to have kind of a stomach distress. Why should you care? Well, maybe you shouldn't. But if you're going to be a biochemist, you have to care, because the biochemist designed the drugs that relieves the symptoms that are caused by all these different viruses. Now, I know that's sort of negative, so I want you to go back to the icosahedron, and I'm going to do something to it so that it's relevant to you. I am going to chop off the corners. How many corners did I tell you there were? 12. I'm going to chop off the corners, and in mathematics, when you chop something off, it's called a truncation. So now, when I chop off all of those 12 corners, I get a truncated icosahedron. Now my truncated, boy, this is a real college word here, kids. My truncated icosahedron has little edges, and you can see them because they're green, and I want to smooth them out so they're more like a ball. So in mathematics, when you smooth something out, that's called mapping. So here we go. I take my truncated icosahedron, I map it onto a sphere, and what do I get?
Soccer ball.
There you go. And have you seen a soccer ball? Yes. And who plays soccer? Well, look at that. And do you know that you are kicking around a truncated icosahedron that's been mapped onto a sphere? That is a mouthful of stuff, but it shows you the impact that mathematics has to your life. If you look at the icosahedron and you understand where the black pentagons come from, they come from chopping off the corners. And remember, you all told me there were 12 corners, so there's got to be 12 pentagons. You know, mathematics defines our world. And our young people of all ages are rapidly losing interest. Why should society care? Why should we care if you study math or science or technology or engineering? Well, I'm going to tell you something very grown up right now because we have adults in this room. There is a group called the National Academy of Sciences, and they do reports. And in 2 of their reports, they made this statement. 85% of measured growth in U.S. per capita income is due to technological change. Now, I know those are big words, and I'm guessing you really don't know what that means, so let me tell you what it means. It means as a country, our economic vitality, our national security, our international competitiveness with all the other countries of the world, our quality of life, and all those things depend on young people like you who know how to be creative, who know how to be innovative, and can create the kinds of technologies that our society needs to function. We need you to help improve our economy. Mathematics provides the direction for technological innovation and scientific exploration. And this is how. When I was in high school, I learned all these facts. I had to memorize facts all the time. And I learned that 2 rams will butt heads in a fight over territory. And in spite of the tremendous impact of that action, their brains are not even harmed. And I remember thinking, well, that's really interesting, but how does it affect me? And then I grew up and I learned that mathematicians working with scientists and technicians and engineers analyzed all that data and they used it to create a superior bicycle helmet. That's technological innovation, okay? Those bicycle helmets should be worn by all of you when you're on your bicycles to protect your brain from being harmed if you crash. Here's another one. Cheetahs are the fastest animals on land. They can reach these speeds up to 70 miles per hour as they chase after their prey. They have these long extended claws that allow them to grip a variety of different surfaces. And I thought, oh, well, that's kind of interesting. But how does it relate to my life? Well, scientists and mathematicians and engineers got together and they analyzed all the data and they used that data to create a running shoe with spikes. Do any of you sprint or run on the track? Have any of you ever seen shoes that have spikes on the bottom so they can, well, there you go. It all came from somebody analyzing the expert running style of the cheetah. That's technological innovation. We need young people who can create these things because they're cool. Now, since I have so many beautiful young women in my audience, I have to say one thing. Girls, do you know that 150 years ago, you were not allowed to go to college? And you were certainly not allowed to study math or science. And there was a very famous physicist named Max Planck. He was a Nobel Prize laureate. And he put his thoughts about women in writing. And I am appalled because he said, women simply have inadequate mental equipment for the study of science or any strenuous intellectual endeavor. That can't be true. If they insist on doing it, their health will be endangered and their children will be defective? How silly. Women are physically and mentally inferior and they lack originality. And I want you to know that many of the modern conveniences that men and women take into consideration that make their life so comfortable sprung from the minds of many women. For example, have you gone grocery shopping with your parents? And have you seen the brown paper sacks full of groceries that they have at the grocery store and you carry them out to the car, right? And I bet not one of you said, thank you so much, Margaret Knight, for creating the machine that made the brown paper sack. Margaret Knight knew math, she knew science, she knew technology, and she knew engineering. How about Madame Curie? Have you studied about her in science? Brilliant scientist. She won 2 Nobels, one in physics and one in chemistry, and among other things, she gave us radium, which is used in the treatment of cancer today. It rains in California once in a while, but when it does, aren't we lucky we have windshield wipers on our automobiles? And do you know that idea sprung from the mind of Mary Anderson, a woman? How about Dorothy Hodgkin? Now, I'm going to tell you her middle name, and then you tell me why I think it's important to remember. You ready? Dorothy Crowfoot Hodgkin. Why would I care about her middle name? Why do you think I mentioned that? It does, and it sounds like she might be of what ethnicity do you think? Where do you think she came from? Do you think she came from Germany, Africa? Crowfoot. What does that sound like to you? What does that sound like to you? Like a Native American. She was a Native American woman who knew something about math and science. And she unlocked the structure of vitamin B12 and recognized it as a cure for pernicious anemia. She also unlocked the structure of insulin, which allowed researchers in the future to develop that drug as a tool for taking care of people with diabetes. And finally, over here, Stephanie Kolak. And I'm sharing with you a lot of things I would be sharing with my college students, so thank you so much for paying attention. Stephanie is so happy with her discovery. She said, I discovered Kevlar. Do you know what Kevlar is? You know what Kevlar is? What is Kevlar? Who knows what Kevlar is? What is Kevlar? That's exactly right. Did you hear what he said? That was very brilliant. Will you say that loudly, please? That's right. So if I'm in a war, I have on a bulletproof vest, and inside that vest is Kevlar. So that protects the bullets from penetrating the vest and getting to the body. Kevlar is also in tires, radial tires that happen to be on the cars of most of your parents' automobiles. But my point, young women, and this is for men too, the car muffler, washing machines, umbrellas, can openers, whiteout correction fluid, chocolate chip cookies, all of these things that we love and love and love, sprung from the minds of inventive women who knew math and science. And young girls, one more thing I do want to tell you, and boys, this is just so that you appreciate, if you look at college today, all the colleges across the country, 59% of the population is women. We need you young men to go to college as well. And even the women that do go to college, and I'm proud to say that they are there, they don't study science, technology, or engineering. They think it's too hard, they think it's irrelevant, they think it's boring, but it's not. It's important that all of you, boys and girls, be connected to these fields, because if you look at the jobs today that are available, the ones that are going to pay you the most money, the ones that are the jobs that society needs filling, they all require you to know something about mathematics and science. So you are so lucky to be at Highland, where your math teachers are making sure that you understand the skills you're going to need to be successful in the 21st century. Now, I get so upset with all those math mistakes out in my environment. I feel like a little math detective looking for all the little mistakes. And when you see them on a hamburger sign, no big deal, it's just a silly little thing. But if you make a mathematical error when you are designing a bridge when you work for a company, you're going to end up with something that is going to cost the business community millions of dollars to fix. And if you make a mathematical error when you are a doctor prescribing drugs for your patient, if you don't do it correctly, it could have dire circumstances. Mathematics is about precision. Mathematics is in your life. You as young people who are going to be successful in the next century, as well as this century, need crucial skills. And those crucial skills include the ability to think creatively, the ability to be innovative, the ability to look at information and tell if it's right or wrong. That's analyzing and synthesizing knowledge. Now, I gave you a button, and I hope you all have it. You have it? I have one, and when I call you a philomath, I am a philomath, I am complimenting you. A philomath is a good thing to be. A philomath is a person who loves learning. Doesn't mean you have to love math and science. I wish you would. But it's a person who loves to learn. And that's what we want you to be most of all. Because after 6th grade comes middle school and then high school, and you better be going to college. Oh, you bet you better. And I want you to consider going right down the hill to UC Riverside. Because at UC Riverside, we build young people who are knowledgeable and committed citizens. People who are courageous and confident and have character and who make the world a better place. And we want you to be part of that community. And if you come down to UC Riverside, you better be looking me up because I would love to be your math teacher. And my name is Pam Clute, Dr. Pam Clute, and I teach mathematics where? Yeah, UC Riverside. So if you get over in that direction, you come and say hello. Now, I've given you a lot of information. Have I confused you? Have I bored you? Oh, good. I'm so glad to hear that, because now is your turn to shine. Do you remember at the very beginning when I had that piece of paper and I kind of folded it and ended up making a star that looked like Carl's Jr.? Well, I thought you might enjoy learning how to make that. So I want you to take that gold piece of paper. All right, now before we start, I want to tell you that there is a strong connection between mathematics and art. If you've ever heard of Leonardo da Vinci, who painted the Mona Lisa, you heard of them? He was a mathematician and a scientist and an artist. And the art form that I am going to teach you about is called kirigami. Kira means to cut, and gami means paper. Paper, and you have a pair of scissors. Now in kirigami, you are only allowed one cut before you make your beautiful shape. So I have to teach you something to do to the paper first. Now, I need you to be a genius for me one more time. I'm going to fold this piece of paper, and you know what it's going to be. So you tell me how many folds I'm going to have to put in that paper to get the outcome. Right. We're making a star, right? How many points does a star have? Well, there you go. So here are our steps. Ready? Take the sheet of paper, fold it in half like a textbook. Now in kirigami, you want it to be perfect, so take that ruler that you all have and run it over the crease, squish, 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 squish. All right, step 2. Take your book, fold it in half again. Take your ruler and squish, 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 squish. And it'll be nice and crispy. All right, third fold. Everybody with me? Okay, here's the third fold. Take the lower left hand, point. Fold it up to the center and crease. Now, this is a genius fold, so I'm thinking I might be able to help some people if they need me. Perfect. Now, if you figured it out, then you need to help your neighbor because we're about helping other people reach their potential. Genius, genius. All right, fourth fold. This one, again, a little confusing. Do you see this triangle right here? Are you sure you see it? Yes. Then fold it away so that you don't. Fold it behind. And then squish, squish, squish. All right, guys, the very last fold, and oh man, this is the hard one. Are you ready for it? All right, I want you to hold it so that it looks like a waffle cone with 2 big scoops of ice cream on it. Am I making sense? So here it is. Scoop, scoop. Now last fold. This is really going to confuse you. So you help your neighbor, please. You're going to fold it in half. So what that means is fold it so that you have a point, and then you have this floppy little triangle. Okay? Now I told you that'd be confusing. So you got to help your neighbor. Be a good citizen. Okay, get your pencil. In mathematics, we have this thing called geometry. Geometry is a bunch of rules about shape. In geometry, those rules are called theorems. And so here's the very first theorem in all of geometry. It's boring and it's easy. It says 2 points determine a line. Now I know that's not real exciting, but you need 2 points on your shape to determine a line. So this is what I want you to do. With your pencil on that floppy triangle, I want you to put a big black pencil mark right there. Right there. Then on the other side, right there, I want you to put another one. And with that wonderful ruler of yours, you connect those 2 dots to make a line. Because it takes 2 points to make a line. That's the rule. That's the theorem. All right, here it goes. So we're going to do it together as a team, and that will be our grand finale. Are you ready? Take your scissors. Take your paper. What's the name of this art form? Kirigami. All right, now, with your scissors, you are going to cut your line. And you got to cut through all the thick paper. And all of a sudden, the bottom will fall off. And the bottom is your treasure. The rest is garbage. So I want you to keep your treasure. And don't open it yet. Just hold your treasure, the little sliver on the bottom. Am I making sense? Yay! It worked! It worked! Would you please hold them up so I can see? Oh, boy. Holy moly. And I think we should end by having you write your name on those stars. Would you please? Write your name on those stars.